Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Justin T. Weller Show on True Chat, broadcasting from Studio 2A, as you can see, hopefully, in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm Justin T. Weller, and today, joined by my very special guest, as you can see. He is special, which would indicate his appearance. So, nonetheless,
great friend here.
The man who needs every introduction in the world, Jacob Rollins. So now that you have been appropriately, for lack of a better word, shat on for the beginning of the show,
I expect
we'll get started as always on this show. Actually, not as always, because usually this show isn't. But today's show, viewer discretion is advised.
Probably a good idea.
Just in case Jacob cannot control his potty mouth. So
I will do my best.
Nonetheless, Jacob is thrilled to be here with us. And as you can tell, this show is pretty much me going to be speaking for Jacob. So if
unless he learns to shut up.
Right, which is unlikely based on the type of company that I'm running. So
that's fair.
Anyway, this is Jacob's second time in Cincinnati from what we discussed, where he was actually here for more than a passing bus. What do you think?
It's a pretty cool city. I don't know. I'm not from Ohio, so it's new to me whenever I get to come to places like this. I live in Columbus right now. I'm going there just for school. But it's always fun to be able to come out and see big cities like this. I love cities. I love the experience of them. Jealous of Justin living in his apartment right now, so it's been pretty nice so far today.
The jealousy. I love it.
I like your apartment. I live in a...
So you didn't mention
I'm
this
not
when we were
swearing
in the apartment.
my apartment, swearing to describe my college apartment that is not the most well-maintained building. I like it a lot, but it's very different from young
living on your own this year as opposed to
living on my own.
Not having done that last year.
Yes.
So, why is Jacob on the show today? That's a fantastic question.
Which I have not been given an answer to.
Right. Which one of the one of the things that I talked to you all about doing a couple weeks ago, or more than that probably, was what direction you wanted to see the show go in. And one of the ideas floated was more guests. So I am working to do that over the next couple weeks to see what you guys think. And we will kind of go from there and see after. I don't know if he's the best one to kick it off with or not, but we're going to give it a try. And then we will test some others, and then you can kind of stack them up and see who was the best. So we'll give that, and of course, me always being top of that pyramid. But nonetheless, we'll get into... I was thinking about it as it came out of my mouth, and it sounded worse as I kept talking.
I didn't say it, but you know exactly where my brain went.
Right. Anyway, so how do I know Jacob since he's from Columbus, not Cincinnati? We're going to let Jacob answer that question about how we met. So,
how we met? Well, the easy version of that is 2 summers ago we were both volunteering with Columbus Pride. I don't know why you were doing it. I was doing it just because... I was doing it because it was a lot of fun, and actually, I don't know if I ever told you about how I needed volunteer experience because of the disastrous events of my spring break my freshman year. So I needed volunteering. Pride was a lot of fun, and I was only supposed to work there like 8 hours over 2 days, and I spent most of a 3-day period there.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of fun. I went back again, did it last year. Again, worked with him last year, so I'm now stuck with him as a friend, apparently.
Yeah, he's stuck with me. I know, it sounds awful.
Mm-hmm. That's the short version of how
that is the short version. We actually had to work the info booth together.
Oh, yeah.
Well, actually,
we didn't.
To be fair,
we did not have to work
the info booth. I was assigned the info booth, just to be clear.
I, at this point, had made myself basically helping assign volunteers, put myself in charge of a lot of that, because that first Pride it went bad. Like, it was flooding. The whole park was
shots fired at Liam.
Not at Liam, at the weather. With the whole park was flooding, and it was just bad. Liam was doing everything he could, but there's only so much you can do when you get 6 inches of water in the park. And the police are like, you have to shut down because water.
Because water.
Yeah.
So, but nonetheless,
yeah,
I was assigned there.
You were assigned there.
Somebody else became assigned there.
You needed another volunteer. I volunteered myself to help out over there.
And this was actually interesting. This was after the escapade that I have told you all about, where I was in Florida and so forth. So I was at Pride mainly as a way to hopefully see a more positive side of our community than I had been exposed to for several months. So, which I did. It was fun, and to hopefully meet new people. I didn't exactly have a lot of LGBT friends at the time, so because most of them were probably exes or not even exes, but just
That's general for most of the community, though. Is a lot of your friends you've dated at some point.
so yeah, that was kind of the goal. And I guess it has been 2 summers now, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, so here we are, going on 2 years later. And yeah, it's not exactly as if we've actually spent a lot of time together, but
Really not. Yeah.
Jacob's an easy person to read, so it was just kind of like.
So he says.
Right.
I'm not sure.
But he's probably going to do some work for True Chat, which is
Apparently.
another reason that he is here, and actually is the kind of unappointed volunteer producer and engineer for another podcast, which is called We Are Compatible, which I will encourage you all to check out. It's very interesting, something that I actually have broached a few times on this show. So available on iTunes right now.
Yeah, working on that one. It's available on iTunes, and there's some other websites that we're working on, but it's just about the United Methodist Church and how it may or may not split over the decision to continue to discipline LGBT people for being themselves. So it's just approaching both sides of whether it should split, try and maintain, or whatnot. What's going to happen to the church? There's 2 co-hosts for it, and they're both really great people. I work with them a lot. I'm trying to help with the website. I do the sound stuff, contact with the studio, all the behind the scenes stuff. But I really enjoy it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You're talking to them a lot.
Yeah.
Well, it's my job to talk to them.
Why?
You talk to me.
But
then I talk to them.
But there's a camera, so my
right.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean it's okay. Anyway, let's get into most embarrassing moment.
I'm trying to think of a good one that's appropriate. Because I don't know. The thing is, most of my embarrassing moments, I have very little shame. So I just tell the stories frequently to myself. One of the ones I like to share, a funny moment that's embarrassing and seems like it's something that would be in a TV show, but actually happened in my life. It was 3 p.m. on a Thursday, and I'm taking a nap because that's the kind of person I am. Because I generally sleep in my underwear, I'm just in my underwear on my bed, and then I hear someone entering the door of my apartment. This was last year when I had 2 roommates. So I was like, okay, it's just one of my roommates. And I hear a knock. I'm like, okay, that's weird. They forget their key, but I don't hear anything. So then the door starts to open. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Well, then I remember the email sent that the landlord is going to be touring our apartment for potential people to come in next year. So this is actually my landlord and other people. Thankfully, the door to my room is shut, but I'm then all of a sudden in a panic of I'm half asleep and almost completely naked. And I'm like, crap. So what I do is I have to quickly grab a pair of pants, which, because I'm me, I generally have a lot of skinny jeans. So I'm trying to pull these skinny jeans on as I'm on my bed, as I hear people coming. Oh, this isn't even the good part. I then fall off my bed because I'm just clumsy and into what's actually an empty box that I had just gotten a few days before. So I have pants halfway on, fallen off my bed into a box, and I'm making a lot of noise. And my apartment was smaller than this studio, and so the landlord definitely
implying that our studio is small.
No, but I'm saying my apartment was small, and it was.
This would be small for an apartment.
Yeah, and so there was not a huge amount of space, so they definitely could hear me. So then I managed to stumble over to open the door, and it's very clear that I've just woken up. And the landlord's there, and I'm just like, sorry. Yeah,
sorry.
I tell that story frequently because it was really funny. Just the fact that I, one, was asleep in the middle of the day, and that was when they were coming, and then the fact that I fell actually into a box. It was just an empty cardboard box that somehow I fell into. It was great.
Interesting. That may have to be the title of this video. Pants half on, cardboard box.
Yeah, well, I tell that story a lot, so that's fine. It was really funny, actually.
Yeah, interesting. Well, I don't know how we could possibly top that, but as is my policy with new guests on this show and the True Chat show, I always, which I told Jacob ahead of the show, which sometimes I don't tell guests. So you got
ahead of 10 minutes ago, not
right.
Much ahead of.
You got a small step up on. I allow them to ask 2 questions of their choosing.
Oh wait, that part's now. I'm not ready for that yet.
Oh well.
Crap.
So they ask 2 questions of their choosing, which I will answer truthfully. So regardless of what the subject may be. So this is always an opportunity for people to either attempt to embarrass me on air or provide you with information you didn't already know. As we've established, Jacob hates everything that I do and all
That
the
is
content
not
that I
true.
create. So he's actually not seen any of it. So he may very well ask a question that you all
That's
already know the
entirely
answer to.
possible.
So we'll just see. I don't know.
What's your favorite of the business endeavors that you've done? Because I know you've done a lot of different ones. What's your favorite?
Favorite of the business endeavors. So like favorite as in my favorite to like run and manage, or as in like the one that I enjoy doing the most?
I'd say enjoyed doing the most.
Well, then it's probably True Chat.
Okay.
Seeing as it's the one that I'm still doing, I think that I've done everything from, which again, I think I told you maybe that I ran a cattle company. So I've done like the two ends of the spectrum of like clean and pristine, up high in this ivory tower, or like down and dirty in the muck and the poo. So I've done both ends of the spectrum, and I will say that there are definitely times where like getting outside and like getting dirty and like doing hard work is something that I enjoy doing. But generally speaking, people that know me, I think, would know that I am very persnickety about things being just so and like cleanliness and that type of thing. So generally speaking, I am more comfortable in a suit and tie in a clean office building than I am down in the dirt. So not that I won't do that. I mean, I played football, ran a cattle company, and I enjoyed doing those things. So it's not as if I can't or won't do them, or that I don't enjoy them. I probably just enjoy this more so.
Because it's clean, or just because the work?
Well, I think both. I mean,
Okay.
I don't think the clean part's a major.
That's what I was like. That sounded like you were
Right.
saying you're like, I just hate dirt. I'll do it, but I hate dirt.
Right. No, I very much enjoy the work that I get to do at True Chat. I wrote the mission statement and the philosophy behind True Chat, which is a big motivation for having started it. So I think I enjoy what I'm doing. It's very rewarding stuff, especially when we get interaction with listeners, which we do. So
Oh, that's good.
where we get to see what people think and talk to us. So
Okay.
yep, one down. Don't know if that was the best one to get. Like, I don't feel like that's something that I would naturally like cover up.
Well, yeah. I wasn't.
Not that you have to ask that much.
That's why I was like, I'm trying to.
If there's softballs, I'm great with that.
I'm trying
That's
not to be a
fine.
complete dick with questions, but like
That's kind of you, but
I'm trying at least for once. It's a new concept in my life. I'm trying to think of like, do I want to go for like full on embarrassing you, or
well, I can't answer what you want. It's not really.
I know.
See what I deal with? These are the people that I associate with. Anyway,
Do you plan on staying in Cincinnati for the next 10 years or so, or do you want to move?
I think that Brett and I both really enjoy Cincinnati. In a lot of ways, it has become home for a number of different reasons. It was either the staging location of different things that have been done. Going to college represented my opportunity to start the life that I wanted to start, which was what I did here in Cincinnati, and then pursuing other things that I wanted to do. And obviously, this being the place where Brett and I met, there's significance to it as well.
Yeah, important.
So, I mean, I would say right now there's not a plan to leave. That doesn't mean that there wouldn't be. We want to travel a lot, and we're definitely open to living in other places. I would like to live in DC at some point, but we'll see if that happens. I also am a big fan of Fort Lauderdale, so I would be happy to live there at some point as well. So we'll just see. It's kind of going to depend on a number of things that are going on with True Chat right now, and then also what happens, kind of what Brett decides after he graduates this coming.
Yeah, you do have to factor the boyfriend in.
Huh?
You do have to factor him in.
Yes, it depends on what happens after he graduates. He's been kind of deciphering what he wants to do when he's out of college, which of course would be a natural thing to do in your last year.
Part of,
So
becoming an adult.
right, yeah, like what do you actually want to do for a living?
With the rest of your life decide now.
So it may be the type of thing where we stay another year after that, and he just does some work, and I keep doing my work while we plan for what we want to do after that.
Okay.
So my guess is that we'll probably be in Cincinnati for, at the shortest, at least until late next summertime. sometimes.
That's actually less than I thought.
Yeah, but I mean, at the longest, it could be forever. So
Alright.
it's a good city. I think it's one that definitely grows on you too, from the standpoint of you learn a lot about it, not just the fun facts that I've been sharing with Jacob all day.
Fun is a word for them.
Okay, well, not just all the
They're
random
not
facts
bad,
that I've
but
been
just
sharing.
gotta give them a hard time.
Yes, but moreover, being what you experience from the city as you go on.
Okay.
Things that you can't learn in a month being here. It's
Okay.
like things that take time, people that you have to meet, places you have to understand. Like, it's a very interesting city. So, yeah.
Alright.
Have you thought of anything else now? I wouldn't usually give a third one, but
I don't know. Again, it's just like I don't know if you want to go into stuff on air. Like, I mean, I can talk to you later. What? I don't know. I don't
Okay.
know. It's like stuff that I'm curious about because I'm a nosy person. That's like really not actually relevant.
you're all nosy too, aren't you? I mean, isn't this why we do YouTube stuff? I'm
That's-
kidding, but
Well,
I mean,
kinda
that's why I
accurate.
watch some YouTubers.
Yeah,
'cause-
it's like because you're curious about their lives. and
right.
everything.
I mean, I don't know if being, like my voice just died there for 2 seconds.
Yeah, a little bit.
I don't know if that's necessarily bad. I mean, that's a big part of what YouTube is like getting to know more about people because it's interesting to see like what other people go through in life.
Yeah.
So,
The only other thing I would ask is just how are you and Brett doing? How's that going? With like how are you handling the getting ready for him to be out of college and stuff? That's gonna be a huge transition.
yeah. What? Sorry, I'm losing track of time on the
Buying
show.
time. Mhm.
I think that, well, as far as how it's going, I mean, it's going, I think, as well as it could. I think that we had a really good discussion the other day about. I think it comes for everybody at some point in a relationship where like you go through stages of like how things go. Obviously, the initial stage being, for a lot of people, primarily passion based.
I was like, how are you gonna phrase that one?
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. I mean, let's be honest. That's what it's about, right? I mean, the initial phase is like, I like you, you like me. Let's get to know each other, but let's also have fun.
Yeah.
So that was definitely, where we were at for quite some time. I left for tour for True Chat, which quickly took us into like the serious part of like, what's the relationship like? Because obviously at that point there's zero physical aspect and it all becomes mental.
And you can have to see if you actually like to talk to the person.
Right, which of course, having stayed together after that for months, the
Apparently
answer
you do.
being yes. And then moving back towards like, oh, you're back. So now it's like, now we're back into the passion phase because we haven't seen each other for so long. So like going through those and then getting to the point where like after sometime around the year mark was when it kind of hit for us of where that starts to fade away a little bit more. And it's more about like the friendship and partnership aspect of like how you support one another than it is about that. Not that that doesn't exist, because relationships would be pretty boring if it doesn't. But just kind of as that stuff progresses is interesting to see, and just like having that conversation of. I think the pendulum swings. I guess is what I'm getting at. Of it swings toward like all we do is like passion related, like let's go have fun activities, to like super serious stuff because life gets real, and then like finding that balance I think is where we were at kind of last month, and now it being like the place where it's hunky-dory. So I think the number of times that Brett and I have had a fight I can probably count on one hand. So not very often, just because we were both in relationships, which I know I've talked to you guys about before, where communication was a like non-existent factor.
Yeah, which is a problem.
Right. So we were both very committed to that going in. So I think that's definitely helped.
Mm-hmm.
You can talk about things before they become issues, which is always a plus. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, cool.
What else? Random fact about Jacob. Go.
What?
Random fact.
From Colorado, grew up with my dad in the military. I lived in a bunch of different states, then spent half my life in Colorado, then moved to Ohio.
Lots of random facts. Do you like ice cream?
Yes.
What's your favorite flavor?
Chocolate.
What's your favorite color?
Green. I was thinking color of ice cream. I was like brown for chocolate ice cream.
That's why I asked him back to
I was like, wait. I was like, chocolate is brown. Wait, no, but color in general
Did
is
you
green.
say chocolate because it was easy, or is that actually your favorite?
No, chocolate is the problem.
Okay.
Like my mother and I have a serious problem with how much chocolate we like, but it works well because my dad and sister hate chocolate. So we just for my birthday, I'll do like the chocolate cake with chocolate frosting on it, and then they won't eat any of it. And it's great.
It's a good plan.
It works out well.
That note, ladies and gentlemen, let us know what you thought of Jacob today. Was he good? Was he not?
Oh, that's it. Are we done?
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Well,
easy.
we're about to be.
Okay.
But you interrupted. So now,
Well, yeah.
now we're off on this. Anyway, let us know what you thought of Jacob in the comment section below. I don't care what you thought about me. Actually, I do. So be nice. And if you liked this video, or more importantly, if you didn't hate it, thumbs up. Remember that if you're listening to this, it is also a video, as I've alluded to a number of times. So feel free to check that out on the website or on YouTube. And if you're watching this, did you know that it's available in audio format? Because it is. So you can subscribe on iTunes in case you're not in front of your computer on any given week, which if you live in this century, I don't know how you wouldn't be, but
Yeah.
I don't know. So you can listen, watch it, do as you please. Comment, like, subscribe, and let me know if you like this type of video or not. On that note, I'd like to remind all of you to check out True Chat's website because we've got a lot of other great shows going on, which are definitely worth your time. And that's about it. Any final thoughts?
No.
Was it as bad as you thought it'd be?
No.
No, it's not as bad as you thought it'd be.
No, it was
Excellent.
not bad. It
Excellent.
was less work than I thought it would be.
Great. So, for the Justin T. Weller Show on True Chat, broadcasting from Studio 2A in Cincinnati, Ohio, I'm Justin T. Weller.
I'm Jacob Rollins.
As always, thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you next week. Be the change.